You know what nobody's talking about enough? The fact that we're watching two completely different timelines unfold right now in New York baseball, and the difference comes down to one thing. How much time is actually left on the clock? Aaron Judge just turned the baseball world upside down again. 111 home runs in 2 seasons. Think about that number for a second. 258 runs batted in. He's hitting over 320, over 330, doing things we haven't seen since the days when Babe Ruth was walking around Yankee Stadium. This isn't just good baseball. This is historic baseball, the kind that gets talked about 50 years from now. But here's the thing that keeps Brian Cashman up at night. Judge turns 34 this April. 34. And yeah, he's still putting up numbers that make you wonder if there's something supernatural going on in the Bronx, but the calendar doesn't lie. The window is closing. Not tomorrow, not next month, but it's closing. Every season that passes without a championship is a season you can't get back. Every October that ends in disappointment is another year gone from what might be the greatest individual peak performance we'll see from a Yankee in our lifetimes. Now flip over to Queens for a minute. Juan Soto just finished his first season as a Met, and what did he do? Played 160 games, 43 home runs, 105 runs batted in, walked 127 times because pitchers are terrified to give him anything good to hit, slugged over 500. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing that should terrify every other team in the National League. He stole 38 bases. 38. He barely ran at all with the Yankees, and now he's out here showing a completely different dimension to his game. And Soto doesn't turn 28 until October. 28. David Stearns isn't just looking at a superstar in his prime. He's looking at potentially another decade of elite production. That $765 million contract that made everyone's jaw drop. It starts making a lot more sense when you realize you might be getting Soto's age, 27 through 37 seasons, maybe even beyond that. This is what people don't fully grasp about the Soto signing. It wasn't just about getting a great player. It was about getting a great player whose best years might still be ahead of him. Judge is in the middle of something special, something we may never see again. But the harsh reality of professional sports is that Father Time is undefeated. Soto is just entering the phase where most players hit their absolute ceiling. The runway is longer, the margin for error is bigger, and the potential for sustained excellence is right there. But let's talk about what Soto walked into in Queens, because it matters. Francisco Lindor is still there, still being Francisco Lindor, still being the best all-around player the Mets have ever had. And that's not hyperbole. Shortstop, switch hitter, elite defender, leader in the clubhouse. When you look at the complete package, when you consider everything Lindor brings to a baseball team, the Mets have never had anyone quite like him. He's batting in front of Soto again this year. Think about what that means for opposing pitchers. You've got to deal with Lindor, and then immediately after him, you've got Juan Soto standing in the box. Behind Soto now is Bichette. 94 runs batted in last year for Toronto in only 139 games because of injury. When healthy, Bichette can hit. The protection is there. The lineup construction makes sense. 1, 2, 3. That's the heartbeat of any offense. And the Mets have built something that could be absolutely lethal if everyone stays on the field. Here's what keeps this interesting, though. Lindor is the heart and soul of that Mets team. He's the guy who sets the tone, who plays every single day like it matters, who brings an energy that's infectious. But even with everything Lindor is and everything he does, Soto is the main event now. The Mets have never had a pure hitter like this. Carlos Beltran was great. Beltran is going to be in the Hall of Fame, but Juan Soto is a different level of complete as a hitter. The plate discipline, the power, the ability to control an at-bat, the way he makes pitchers work, the way he can change a game without even swinging the bat. This is generational talent. And that's the tension that makes New York baseball so compelling right now. The Yankees have their guy in the absolute peak of his powers, doing things that defy explanation, but the clock is ticking louder every single day. The Mets have their guy just hitting his stride, with years and years of prime baseball potentially ahead of him. Both teams are built around these superstars. Both teams need championships to validate everything, but the urgency is different. For the Yankees, it's now or never. Well, not never, but the window is smaller than people want to admit. Judge can't keep doing this forever. Nobody can. The human body breaks down. Reflexes slow down. Injuries pile up. Right now, today, this season, Judge is still that force of nature. But how many more years of this do they realistically have? 3, 4, maybe 5 if they're incredibly lucky? Every season without a parade is a season wasted. For the Mets, there's more room to breathe. Soto is going to be this good for a while. They can build around him, adjust the roster, make moves, and know that their centerpiece is going to be there producing at an elite level. That doesn't mean they should waste years. It doesn't mean they shouldn't go all in right now, but the pressure is different when your best player is 27 versus 33. Both teams matter. Both players matter. Judge in the Bronx, Soto in Queens, two different stages of greatness, two different timelines, same city, same pressure to win. This is what makes baseball in New York unlike anywhere else. The expectations, the scrutiny, the constant comparison, the knowledge that being great isn't enough. You have to win. You have to win championships. And the clock is ticking differently for these two franchises, even as they chase the same goal.